Name the method of separation that can most suitably be used to separate the following mixtures: gasoline from petroleum, benzoic acid and potassium carbonate, oil from cashew nuts. So gasoline from petroleum, we use fractional distillation because these are two liquids with different boiling points, so we use fractional distillation. Benzoic acid is a supplement, it sublimes when heated, therefore to separate it from potassium carbonate we use sublimation method. Oil from cashew nuts we use solvent extraction. You should also know how to describe the experiment of a solvent extraction, where you are supposed to crush the cashew nuts and then use the solvent. That process, you should know it. The table below shows information about three solid substances A, B, and C. Study it and answer the question that follow. Solid A, soluble in water, cold water, soluble in hot water. B, insoluble in cold water, insoluble in hot water. C, insoluble in cold water, soluble in hot water. Describe how you would separate the three solids from the mixture of the three. So how will you separate A, B, C? Place the mixture in a beaker with hot water and stir. Filter the mixture while hot to obtain B as a residue. Let the mixture containing A and C now cool. Solid C will be deposited because it is insoluble in cold water. Filter again to obtain C as a residue. Yes. Evaporate the filtrate to dryness to obtain solid A. Study the diagram below shows a setup that can be used to prepare and collect oxygen gas. Study it and answer the question that follow. The question is, identify two mistakes from the diagram which must be corrected for one to collect dry oxygen gas. So what are the mistakes in this experiment? This one is okay, hydrogen peroxide is okay. Now we have this one is supposed to be a conical flask, is okay. Now one mistake that is here is this delivery tube, this one should not be inside this concentrated solution. Hii tube lazima ifike hapa, inafaa kufika hapa. Hii haifai kuwa hapa ndani, inafaa ifike hapa. Ndio hii gas ikifika hapa ndani, ikitoka hapa itoke ikiwa dry, ndio ingia hapa. Another mistake yenye imefanyika, amedry the oxygen gas tena anaipitisha ndani ya maji, so it was useless drying it. So the method of gas collection should not be this over water, yet you want it dry. So now you can either use a syringe or use another way. The delivery tube in the conical flask containing concentrated sulfuric acid should not be dipped into the acid. That's mistake number one, which should be corrected. And mistake number two, which would be corrected for us to correct dry oxygen. For dry oxygen to be corrected, it should not be collected by overwater method. So we should collect the method of collecting the gas so that we can collect it dry. The table below shows reactions of method A, B, C, D and their reactants. Method A, B, C, D, reaction with acid, reaction with water, action on heat. So this A reacts with acid to produce hydrogen, no reaction with water, oxide formed. B, no reaction, metal formed. Hydrogen formed oxide. So this C reacts with water and reacts with an acid. So a metal which reacts with an acid and water at the same time then that is the most reactive, because you see the rest they don't react with water. So C is the most reactive. Arrange the metals in order of decreasing reactivity, starting with the most reactive. So the most reactive is going to be C kwa sababu ina react na both water and the acid. Ile ambayo ina react with the acid and no water, that will be the second. So yenye ina react na acid but no water, that will be the second most reactive. So A is the second most reactive. And then D does not react with water, does not react with the acid, but it forms an oxide. So that one makes it the second. But this B does not react with the acid, it does not react with it, forms a metal. Remember, when action of heat on nitrates, those metals that forms the respective metal, they are the most, what is the end of the reaction, the activity series. For example, silver and the mercury. Kwa hivyo, this one could be mercury or silver. So, therefore, this one is the correct order of reactivity. The table below gives information of 4 elements by letter K, L, M, and N. Study and answer the question that for the letters do not represent the actual symbol of element. These are the element, the electron configuration, atomic radius, ionic radius. Which 2 elements have similar properties? Explain. Kwa hivyo ukiangalia hapa, for the elements to have the similar, unaangalia which the elements in the same group or the same period, those one will give us the similarity. What is the most likely formula of the oxide of L? So K and M, and because K is group 2, N is group 2. So this and this, they share similar chemical properties. K and N, they have the same number of electrons in the outermost energy level. Or you can say K and N because they belong to the same group. What is the most likely formula of the oxide of L? L is chlorine, you can see. So chlorine takes the valence. Tunajua chlorine, the valence is 1. Sawa? Lakini wakati ina react, inachukua 7 as the valence electrons. Therefore it will form L2 oxygen. So this is 2, this is 7 here, and this is 2. So it in interchange. So it forms L2O7, or you can write it chlorine like this. Which element is an nonmetal? Explain. So, how do you know that the element is an nonmetal? An element which gains electrons to be stable, that one is an nonmetal. Kwa hivyo L ndio ina react by gaining 1 electron to be stable. Therefore, L is the nonmetal. Any element which react by losing electrons like this, this and this, they are metals. Ile ambayo ina react kwa cruise metals ndio ikuwe stable, kwa cruise electrons ndio ikuwe stable, is a metal. Ile ambayo ina react by gaining electrons ndio ikuwe stable, is a non-metal. L, because it has 7 electrons in the outermost energy level, hence react by gaining electrons. A student set up an experiment below to collect gas K. The glass wool was heated before heating the zinc. The glass wool was heated before heating the zinc powder. Why was it necessary to heat the moist glass wool before heating the zinc powder? Why was it necessary? The reason is to enable the air that was inside here to escape. So to expel all of the air present in the boiling tube. It will make this air which was inside here to escape. So it is to expel. What observation were made in the test tube? So remember, zinc powder is gray. When it is going to react with the steam now, it will form zinc oxide. So zinc powder changes from yellow, changes to a yellow solid when hot and white on cooling. Remember, zinc oxide is white when cold and it is yellow when hot. Ukichoma zinc oxide inakuanga white. Sawa? Kwa hivyo sasa zinc yenyewe ina react na steam. So if you are asked to write the equation should be zinc plus steam. Steam is water in gaseous form. So it reacts to form zinc oxide plus hydrogen. So gas K is hydrogen. So this one when hot, zinc oxide when hot is yellow. Hot. When cold is white. So the powder changes to yellow solid when hot and white on cooling. Using dot and cross represent most electrons, draw the structure to show the bonding of carbon 4. So kwanza unajua carbon 4 oxide in undergo dative or covalent, in undergo covalent bonding because it is a bond between an metal and an nonmetal. So kwanza unafaa ujua carbon iko na valence ya iko na ni 2 to 4. Oxygen ni the electron configuration is 2 to 6. So the outermost energy level ndio was na bond. Now hii iko na 4, hii iko na 2. So they will bond like this. Oxygen, so carbon is going to be at the center. Ile ambayo iko moja inakuwa at the center na itazungukwa na oxygen mbili. So oxygen. Hii oxygen iko na 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 electrons. Carbon iko na 1, 2, 3, 4. This another oxygen has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 electrons. So carbon. So what will happen is that hii oxygen inatoa yake, hii inatoa yake. Hii inatoa yake mpaka finally iko stable. The same thing. So oxygen itatoa 1 electron, you cancel it out. Itaweka hapa moja. Carbon itatoa yake moja. So you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and bado itakuwa stable. Kwa hivyo hii tena inaongeza yake moja, hii inaongeza yake moja. Kwa hivyo ukihesabu 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 imekuwa stable. So hizi zimebaki hapa 1, 2, 3, 4 unaziweka hapa ndani. Sawa? Unarudi this side. Oxygen ya pande hii inatoa yake moja, carbon inatoa moja. Hii inatoa ingine, hii inatoa ingine. Hizi imebaki 1, 2, 3, 4 unaweka hapa ndani 1, 2, 3, 4. Kwa hivyo this is the bonding. Sasa hii bonding haitaki uchafu. Ukishafanya hivyo, now I want you to draw this one here very clean. Usiweke kadoti hata hapa ndani because ukiweka kadoti inahesabiwa kuwa an electron. So now you draw it here. Very clean now. This was rough work. Like this. Oxygen, carbon, oxygen. How many electrons here? 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2. And this is the correct. So ukisha chafua pande una cross and then you use this one as the correct one. Suppose ulikuwa umeambiwa uchole ammonium ion or hydroxonium ion. This one is undergo dative. Sawa? Ukiona ikiwa positive inamaanisha there is one hydrogen here which is empty. Hapa there is one hydrogen which is empty. Sawa? So how do you draw hydroxonium or ammonium ion? It's simple. Ammonium ion N itakuwa katikati. Sawa? Hiyo N nitrogen itazunguka na 4 hydrogens. 1, 2, 3, 4 hydrogen. Sawa? Lakini kati ya hizi 4 hydrogen, 1 is empty. Iko empty kabisa. So ile yenye iko empty, wacha nichukue hii iko empty yeyote. Kwa hivyo ile yenye iko empty tunaiwekea positive. Inamaanisha haina chochote. Lakini hizi zingine ziko na 1 electron. So it has 1 electron. It has 1 electron. It has 1 electron. So nitrogen ni 2 to 5. So iko na 5 electrons. So itatoa yake. Si hydrogen imetoa yake. Hii pia nitrogen itatoa yake moja. Itatoa yake moja, itatoa yake moja. Nitrogen itakuwa imebakisha ngapi? Itakuwa imebakisha hapa 2. So zile 2 ambazo zimebaki hapa itazipeana zote kwa hii hydrogen ambayo iko empty. So hiyo ndio inaitwa dative sasa, kwa sababu this nitrogen will provide the whole 2 pairs to be the pair of electron to be shared. Because it was an ion, sasa unafanya hivi. Unaweka positive. Sawa. Aya, kama ulikuwa umeambiwa uchore hydroxonium ion, you will do the same. Oxygen itakuwa the center. Imezungukwa na hydrogen 3. 1 2 3. Positive means kwamba hydrogen moja hapa iko empty. Ukiona 2 hydrogen inamaanisha 2 hydrogen are empty. So let me use this one to be empty. Nikiweka positive inamaanisha iko empty. Lakini hii nyingine hizi mbili ziko na moja, iko na 1 electron. So hii oxygen iko na 2 to 6. So oxygen iko na electron 6 outside, ndio inakuwa shared hapa. Kwa hivyo hydrogen hii itatoa yake moja. Hii itatoa yake moja. Nimetumia X for hydrogen. Like, hii iko haina kitu. So hii inaenda kupewa na oxygen. So this one iko moja. Now oxygen iko na 6 electrons. So itapea moja hapa, ipea moja huku. Itakuwa imebaki na 4. 4 itatoa zake mbili zote iweke hii yenye iko empty. Hiyo sasa ndio inaitwa dative. And then itabakisha hapa mbili. So ukihesabu 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, kila moja iko stable na unaweka namna hii, unaweka positive, utakuwa umemaliza. Sulfur is extracted from underground deposit by a process in which 3 concentric pipes are sunk down into the deposit as shown below. So this is the diagram. Name the process represented above. This one is the flash process. What is passed through down pipe J? So pipe J is this one, the innermost. Ni nini inawekwa kwa innermost? Hii ni outermost. Halafu kuna hii yenye inatoa. So hapa the inner J, what enters here is the hot compressed air at 15 atmospheres. The process is the flash process. You should know, if this is the compressed air, the superheated water gets from this, the outermost. In superheated water ndio inaingia. Na ujue function of superheated is to melt the sulfur. So because this water is at a very high temperature. And then this inner here is the one that will bring out the molten sulfur. Name 2 allotropes of sulfur. We have rhombic, you can call it prismatic, or you can call it beta. We have another one, monoclinic, or octahedral, or alpha. You can choose any one name. Name the particles responsible for electrical conductivity in graphite. It is the dihydroxide electrons. In a solution, it is the mobile ions that are responsible. Study the diagram to answer the question 34. This is carbon 4. This is charcoal. Gas Z. Identify gas Z. So carbon 4, when it passes through charcoal, charcoal is a reducing agent. So it will reduce carbon 4 to carbon 2. Gas Z is CO. So gas Z is carbon 2 oxide. Write the chemical equation for the reaction. It is carbon 4 plus carbon, which is a reducing agent. It reduces carbon 4 to carbon 2. State why the above experiment should be carried out in a fume chamber, because carbon 2 is very poisonous. 25 centimeters cube of 0.12 molar potassium hydroxide solution required 30 centimeters cube of solution of diabasic acid. This for complete neutralization. The acid contained 3.15 grams per 500 centimeters cube. Calculate the molarity of the acid. So the molarity of the acid. So first let us write the equation. So potassium hydroxide will react with the acid. This is like a sulfuric acid, so H2H venye tumeipewa tunaandika hivyo. So it is going to form potassium. If it was sulfate, it is going to form potassium sulfate, but the sulfate is represented by H plus water. So this K is 2, so we have to put 2 here to balance, 2 here to balance. But we know this is the volume here is 25 centimeters cube. We know the molarity is 0.12 capital M. So we can get the number of moles of the hydroxide. We know that 1,000 centimeters cube of potassium hydroxide is equal in 0.12 moles because molarity is in 1,000. What about 25 centimeters cube? Itatupea how many moles? So itakuwa ni 25 times 0.12 divided by 1,000. Itatupea 0.003 moles. Kwa hivyo moles ya potassium hydroxide ni hii. So kwa sababu the ratio is 2 to 1, now the moles of the acid is going to be half. Moles of the acid equal to 0.003 times 1 over 2, which is equal to 0.0015 moles. Yeah, kwa sababu the mole ratio is 1 to 2, moles ya acid itakuwa a half ya hizi. But tumeulizwa molarity of the acid. The volume yenye ilitumika ya hii acid nilikuwa 30. So this moles is in 30. What about 1,000? Because molarity should be in 1,000. So 30 centimeters cube ilitupea 0.0015 moles. 1,000 centimeters cube will be what? Molarity is the number of moles in a liter, 1,000. So it is 1,000 times 0.0015 divided by 30, and this one gives 0.05 capital M molarity. The next question is calculate the relative formula of the acid. The relative formula of the acid. Relative formula of the acid. You remember the formula I usually give. Molarity equal to mass in grams per liter over RFM. So now we want to calculate the RFM. We have the molarity of the acid, mass in grams per liter. We will have it from here because we have mass in grams in 500. So in a liter it is going to be twice this. 500 in here. What about 1,000? Itakuwa twice this. So we already have mass in grams per liter. So you will say 3.15 grams is in 500. 1,000 centimeters cube itakuwa ngapi? Itakuwa ni 100. 1,000 times 3.15 divided by 500. Hii ni mara moja pa mara mbili. So itakuwa 6.3 grams per liter. Nishapata mass in grams per liter of the acid. Molarity niko nayo. So nataka RFM. So RFM is equal to mass in grams per liter divided by molarity. So mass in grams per liter is 6.3 divided by molarity is 0.05. And this one will give us 126. And that is the RFM. Explain how a sample of ethanol could be distinguished from a sample of ethanoic acid by a chemical test. How would you differentiate ethanol and ethanoic acid? An alcohol and an alkanoic acid. Put ethanol in a test tube and also ethanoic acid in another test tube. Add sodium carbonate to each of the test tube and note the observation. In the test tube with ethanoic acid, allowed effervescence is observed. Bubbles are formed and a colorless gas is produced. Allowed effervescence is observed, while there is no effervescence in the test tube containing ethanol. So there will be effervescence in a test tube containing ethanoic acid when sodium carbonate is added, but there will be no effervescence when the sodium carbonate is added to a test tube containing ethanol. That's how you will differentiate that this one is ethanol and this one is ethanoic acid. Ethanoic acid will produce effervescence, but ethanoic acid will produce effervescence, ethanol will not produce effervescence. The flow chart below shows a question. This is ammonia, copper 2 oxide, gas A, liquid B. State the observation made when ammonia gas is passed through overheated copper 2 oxide. Copper 2 oxide, you should note the color, it is black. Copper is brown. It is important to note these colors because when you are told to make observation, you tell us the color changed from where to where, from which to which. So ammonia gas is a reducing agent, so it will reduce copper 2 oxide to copper. So solid B is going to be the brown copper, and it is going to form a colorless liquid, a gas. State observation. So the black solid copper 2 oxide changes to brown. So the color changes from black to brown. That is, the black copper 2 oxide is reduced to copper, which is brown. So this is the equation which you should know. Lazima ujue kuandika equation. So ammonia plus copper 2 oxide, it forms copper, which is brown, nitrogen gas, and a colorless liquid, that is water. So gas A is nitrogen, liquid B is water. And this is the equation. You may be asked next, write the equation that took place. Starting with calcium carbonate, describe how a solid sample of calcium sulfate can be prepared. Into a beaker containing dilute nitric acid, add calcium carbonate a little by a little as you stir. Continue adding until there is no further reaction. Filter the mixture, add sodium sulfate to the filter. Filter the mixture. The residue is calcium sulfate. Wash the residue with distilled water and dry it between filter papers. Gas G is prepared in a laboratory by adding concentrated sulfuric acid to a compound C. Gas G is denser than air and dissolves in water to form a solution which is strongly acidic. Name two gases that are likely to be G. Two gases that are likely to be G is hydrogen chloride gas or sulfur 4 oxide gas, SO2 or HCl gas. Kwa sababu HCl inakuwa formed when conc sulfuric acid ina react na rock salt. Rock salt ni sodium chloride. So sodium chloride with conc sulfuric acid, you get hydrogen chloride. Sulfur 4 oxide is formed when conc sulfuric acid react with copper metal. It forms, so here the solid that will react, so C for this one is copper. With conc sulfuric acid you get sulfur 4 oxide. These two gases are denser than air. They are collected by which method? Downward delivery method. Draw the diagram to show how gas G is collected. It is by downward delivery because it is denser than air. Equal volumes of diabase cakes were each reacted with excess zinc carbonate powder. Then table below shows the volumes of gas produced. Gas X, gas Y. X ilitoa 20 centimeters, Y ikatoa. So it means this one is more, the acid is more reactive than this one. So acid Y is stronger than this one. Ndio maana ikatoa volume kubwa. Identify gas produced. When a carbonate reacts with an acid, it brings out, or it produces carbon 4 oxide gas. Explain the difference in the volume of the gas produced. Acid Y is stronger than acid X. It produces more hydrogen ions which react with zinc carbonate, hence producing more carbon 4 oxide. Methane gas reacts with chlorine gas as shown. This is the equation. UV light is required. Use the bond energy in the table below to calculate the enthalpy for the above reaction. So kitu ya kwanza unafanya, open this equation like this, open this equation like this, open this one like this, and this like that. The bond for carbon hydrogen ni 413. Lakini 413 siko ngapi? 1 2 3 4. So ni 4 times 413 plus chlorine ni 346 plus 3 2 chlorine ni 242. So ukiongeza inakupea 1894. The same here, hydrogen carbon, there are 3 of them, 3. Chlorine carbon chlorine is 1, and then HCl with 431. So you add, but remember this is called bond breaking and this is bond formation. Bond breaking is endothermic, so that's why it is a positive. Bond formation is exothermic. So if it is exothermic, then it is negative. So to calculate now the energy that was used there, the change in energy is equal bond breaking energy plus bond formation energy. So the bond breaking is positive 1894 plus negative 2016. So negative times a positive is negative. 1894 minus 2016 gives you negative 122 kilojoules per mole. An equilibrium exists between chromate ion and dichromate ions as shown below. This and that. So this is yellow and this is orange. State and explain the observation made on adding aqueous potassium hydroxide solution to the equilibrium mixture. So if you add more potassium hydroxide, it will provide more hydroxide ions. So what will hydroxide ions do? It will react with hydrogen to form water. So more water is going to be formed, meaning the equilibrium is going to shift to the left. So more of the yellow color will be observed. The solution changes from orange to yellow. Potassium hydroxide produces hydroxide ions, which remove hydrogen ions in the form of water, making equilibrium to shift to the left. Equilibrium will shift to left, in to right, in left. So equilibrium will shift to the right because of that. Below is a table reduction potential. It doesn't. Select the species with the largest oxidizing power. Largest oxidizing power is the most positive. So the most unaangalia is signs. The most positive is the strongest oxidizing power. The most negative is the strongest reducing power or agent. You can call it reducing agent, and it has a more reducing power. So oxidizing power, you can take D. Kama unaweza andika equation yote. Reducing power ni A as a solid. I take it as a solid, or you can write this up to here. Calculate the electron potential, EMF of the cell, constructed using a half offset AB. So we are joining A and B to form a electrochemical cell. Kwanza lazima ujue kati ya hizi mbili ni gani itaundergo reduction, ni gani itaundergo. Kwa hivyo negative 2.8, negative 1.5, this is more positive. The one that is more positive, it is the one that will give electrons and it will undergo oxidation. The one with less reduction potential will undergo reduction. Now we use the formula E cell is equal to E theta of reduction minus E theta of oxidation. Kwa hivyo hapa ili utumie formula lazima ujue ni gani ili undergo oxidation, ni gani ina undergo reduction. Therefore, yenye ina undergo reduction ni tumesema ni E undergo reduction, E undergo oxidation. So now we use the formula E theta reduction minus E theta. Now that is negative 1.5 minus 2.8, which is minus 1.5 plus 2.8, and the answer is positive 1.3 volts. A polymer has the following structure. This is a polymer. A sample of this polymer is found to have a molecular mass of 5194. Determine the number of monomers of the polymer. For you to get the number of, first we have to get a monomer from this polymer. Ili upate monomer kwa hii polymer, unaangalia the repeating unit. Ni gani ile inajirudia rudia. Kwa hivyo CH2, CN, CH2, CN. Kwa hivyo unaona kuanzia hapa hii ndio inajirudia. Sawa? Si hii ndio hii, ndio hii. Kwa hivyo this is the monomer. Remember the monomer now is going to be written as CH2 double bond CHN. This is now the monomer. This is the repeating unit. So we have one monomer. So for us to get the number of monomers, we get the relative molecular mass of this. How do you do that? Utakuwa umepewa carbon is 12, hydrogen is 1, nitrogen is 14. So unaweka carbon hapa siku mbili. 12 times 3 ziko 3, 1 2 3 3. Hydrogen is 1 2 3, 1 times 3. Nitrogen iko moja, 14. So itakupea total ya 15. So 53 times n, number of monomers that we don't know, will give us this total, which is 5194. So you divide it by 50 both sides and you get 98 as the number of monomers. The diagram below shows the behavior of a radiation from a radioactive material in an electric field. Study it and answer the questions that follow. This is the diagram. Plate A, plate B, PQR. Identify the radiation PR. Identify the charge of plate A, plate B. Hapa unafaa ujue tuko na 3 particles inakuwa tunakuanga na alpha, tuko na beta na tuko na gamma inakuwa produced. But tunataka kujua ukiangalia diffraction to the plate, the diffraction here is very big, the diffraction here is small. So if the diffraction is small, unajua hiyo ni alpha particle. Alpha particle is heavier. Kwa hivyo diffraction inakuwa kidogo. Kwa hivyo definitely unajua hii ni alpha. Alpha particle is positively charged. If it is positively charged, imekuwa attracted towards this plate, inamaanisha hii plate is negative. So, kwa sababu alpha is positive, itakuwa deflected towards the negative. It means now R is the tumesema hii ni alpha, this one is beta, and it is negatively charged, so this one is positive. So that's how unachambua hiyo story. So ni vizuri ujue the properties and the characteristics of these particles, the alpha. Kama tunajua gamma has no charge, ndio maana inaenda straight, it doesn't have the charge. So ni vizuri kuelewa the properties, characteristics of these particles produced radioactivity topic. Alpha particle, beta particle, and the negative. So these are the characteristics vitu nimesema. Alpha particle unafaa kujua they are heavier. Kwa hivyo during diffraction inakuwa deflected a small distance. Beta they are lighter, therefore inakuwa deflected towards along a large distance. The angle is big. And then beta they are negative. If they are negative, lazima ikuwa attracted to the positive. Describe how pure sodium chloride can be obtained from a mixture of iodine, sodium chloride and sand. Remember, iodine is a supplement. Kitu ya kwanza unafaa kujua ni hiyo. Heat the mixture in a beaker. Iodine sublimes, leaving sand and the sodium chloride. Add water to the mixture in the beaker, stir, then filter. Evaporate the filtrate to saturation. Allow the solution to cool to form crystals of sodium chloride. And you are done. Name 2 cations making water hard. It is magnesium ion and the calcium ion that are responsible for that. By use of ionic equation, show the sodium carbonate, how sodium carbonate makes permanent water soft. Remember, sodium carbonate is to remove the magnesium ions. So the carbonate will react with the magnesium ion. So this is the ionic equation for removing magnesium or calcium. This is the table. What do you not deduce about the nature of solution R? Solution R has a pH of 1, then it is a strongly acidic. So which solution would react most vigorously with sodium hydrogen carbonate? That must be an acid R, solution R. Which solution is likely to be ammonia solution? Ammonia solution is a weak base. So a weak base here is T. Define the term solubility. Solubility is the maximum mass of a solute that is required to saturate 100 grams of water, if that was the solvent used, 100 grams of water at a particular temperature. Give 2 uses of solubility curves. Fractional crystallization, used to obtain a pure sample from a mixture of 2 soluble solutes in a solution. Describe a suitable test for sulfite. How can you test for sulfite ions? Add barium nitrate. You can use barium nitrate, barium chloride, or lead 2 nitrate solution into a test tube containing the sulfate ions, followed by dilute nitric acid or HCl. If a white PPT is formed which dissolves in the acid, then the sulfite ions are present. This one is called the sulfite. Sulfate is SO42 minus. This one is sulfate ions. This one are called, if it is 3, it is sulfite. Here. Welcome. We want to look at how to know the products formed during a chemical reaction. How do you tell which products are formed during a chemical reaction? So there are things you must know for you to write the correct products that are formed during a chemical reaction. Remember, for a reaction to occur, there must be a reactant, 2 reactants which are combining to form a product, right? So reactants are always written on the left side. This is the left, and after the arrow is called the right. So the reactants are written on the left side of the equation, and the products are written on the right side of the equation. So for you to know what products are formed, there is this information which you must know. Generally, you should know the following. Number 1, you know metals, non-metals. By the way, how do you know that an element is a metal and another one is a non-metal? I have already said that. There's a video for that. You can check it. So for now, you should know that a metal, generally that a metal plus an acid, you should know the names of the acids. We have hydrochloric acid, nitric acid, sulfuric acid. So when a metal reacts with an acid, what do they form? You should know that a metal plus an acid, the answer is the metal salt plus hydrogen gas. So for example, when I give you zinc plus sulfuric acid, it forms zinc sulfate, zinc sulfate, zinc sulfate. You can see it is the metal salt. The salt comes from the acid, and then plus hydrogen gas, right? Number 2, metal plus steam. Steam is water but in vapor form. So what does it form? A metal plus a steam, you should know that it forms the metal oxide plus hydrogen gas, right? For example, magnesium plus steam we write it in gaseous form. It will form magnesium oxide plus hydrogen. So when you know that this chain of information, it becomes very easier for you to write the products. Number 3, metal plus water. What do they form? A metal, any metal, when if a metal that is able to react with water, it will give you the metal hydroxide. Metal hydroxide plus hydrogen gas. Very important. An example is magnesium plus water. Now this water is a liquid form, solid. This one will give you magnesium hydroxide plus hydrogen gas. The equation will need to be balanced, so we are not talking about the balancing, but that's how the equation will be. But we have to put 2 here to balance the equation, as simple as that. Number 4, metal plus oxygen. A metal plus oxygen, we just get the metal oxide. Metal oxide. For example, sodium plus oxygen. This one is a gas, this one is a solid. What does it form? It forms sodium oxide. Simple as that. It forms sodium oxide. So if you know that a metal plus oxygen, it gives you this, then you won't go wrong. You will not go wrong. Number 5, you should know that an acid plus metal carbonates. A metal carbonate is an example is zinc carbonate, sodium carbonate, magnesium carbonate. That's what we call metal carbonate, because you see I'm putting a metal and then the carbonate. Magnesium carbonate, aluminium carbonate, although we don't have that. So what does it give you? So if it is an acid, any acid that is reacting with a metal carbonate, you should expect the metal salt. You should expect carbon dioxide. Allow me to write in the carbon dioxide and then plus water. So an acid plus a metal carbonate, it gives you the metal salt, carbon dioxide plus water. For example, acid, let me use HCl plus zinc carbonate. It will form zinc chloride, because the chloride will come from here. It will form zinc chloride plus CO2 plus water. So as you can see, this one is permanent. If any carbonate with an acid will form this, the only difference will be on the salt side. So we will put 2 here to balance the equation. Number 6, an acid plus a base. first, I realize very many people do not know what are bases. We have two types of bases. Let me describe them here shortly. Base, we have two types: metal oxides and metal hydroxides are bases. For example, here zinc oxide, magnesium oxide, these are the bases. They are called the bases. Sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide, these are the bases. So whenever you see an hydroxide reacting with an acid, whenever you see a metal oxide reacting with an acid, that one is a base. So an acid plus a base will give you the salt, metal salt, plus simply water. For example, magnesium oxide plus nitric acid, H2, nitric acid is HNO3. It forms the metal salt. The metal is magnesium, you write magnesium. The salt comes from the nitric acid, so magnesium nitrate plus water. As simple as that. So you see, this general information is very, very important for you to write correct chemical equations, correct chemical formulas, and then balance the equation. Number 7. Reactions that form in soluble salts. So those reactions that form in soluble salt, you should know how the products that are. For example, I'm going to give an example: sodium carbonate plus magnesium chloride. This reaction, now sodium carbonate is reacting with magnesium. This is a double decomposition reaction or a precipitation reaction. Therefore, they will change the cations and the anions. So the cation this side will take the anion this side. The cation this side will take the anion this side. So this one is going to form magnesium carbonate plus sodium chloride. Then we will put 2 here to balance the equation. This one is a solid, aqueous. So this is how it's going to react. But if you have a problem here, I have done a video on salts, how to prepare insoluble salts. It is in the description. You would check the link and go and look at it. So there is a complete video for insoluble salts, reactions, all of those. I think up to that point, I want to thank you for your time. Number 8, effect of heat on nitrates. In short, we are saying, what are the products formed when nitrates are being heated? Here we have 3 scenarios. We have 3 scenarios where nitrates of the most reactive metals, when heated, they give different compounds. Like nitrates of potassium nitrate and sodium nitrate, when they are heated, they give potassium nitrate plus oxygen. The similar here, sodium nitrate plus oxygen, right? We can balance the equation like that. So you should know that nitrates of the most reactive metals, they decompose on heating to form the corresponding nitrite plus oxygen. The rest except those of silver, Ag, mercury, decompose to give the oxide, nitrogen 4 and oxygen. So this is what I'm saying. Now those that are in the reactivity, the middle of the reactivity series, such as copper nitrate, zinc nitrate, all of those, they decompose the rest let me write that the rest except silver nitrate and mercury nitrate decompose giving, so let me say giving what? Giving the metal oxide plus nitrogen 4 plus oxygen. For example, if it is zinc nitrate, when you heat zinc nitrate, it will give you zinc oxide plus nitrogen 4 plus oxygen. All of them will behave like this except potassium nitrate, sodium nitrate, and silver nitrate, mercury nitrate. The rest will behave like this. If it is copper nitrate, it will give you copper 2 oxide, nitrogen 4 plus oxygen. So what happens to silver and mercury? So silver Ag nitrate decompose on heating to give you silver itself plus nitrogen 4 plus oxygen. That is the difference. Mercury will decompose when heated to give you mercury itself plus nitrogen 4 plus oxygen. So you can see the scenarios I was talking about, that for silver nitrate, mercury nitrate has a valence of 2, you should know that. Silver is valence 1. It gives a metal. Silver will give you silver, which is a metal. Unlike the ones that are in the middle, the most reactive and those that are least reactive down there, they behave differently. So those are the things you must put in mind for you to score a lot of marks in chemistry, paper 1 and paper 2. Another important thing you should note is the colors of the oxides. You should know that copper 2 oxide is black, zinc oxide is white when cold, and yellow when hot. So those things you should also know them, because they are very, very important in helping you to unravel some kind of questions being asked. Number 9, effect of heat on carbonates. In other words, we are saying, what are the products formed when carbonates are being heated? When you heat a carbonate, what are the products formed? First, you should know that carbonates of potassium, carbonates of sodium, they do not decompose. So sodium carbonate, potassium carbonate, they don't decompose. Don't decompose when heated, because when they are pure, they cannot decompose. But the rest of the metal carbonates decompose when heated to form this. So let me generally write that metal carbonate. When you heat a metal carbonate, it decomposes to give you the metal oxide plus carbon 4 oxide. As simple as that. For example, you can take zinc carbonate. It will decompose to give you zinc oxide plus CO2. As simple as that. So all carbonates will decompose to give you the metal oxide plus carbon 4 oxide, except potassium carbonate and sodium carbonate, because they do not decompose on heating. Other reactions that you must also know is the reducing agents. When hydrogen is reacting with the copper 2 oxide, what happens? So those are some other reactions that you must know. For today, I want to reach it there. If you have any question, you can comment, you can contact. My contacts are on the description. Thank you.